Hey, I'm Aziza Kibibi and welcome back to my channel. For all of you who are subscribed and have been an amazing support to my channel, hey y'all, you know who you are and you know I love you. Thank you for your support. And if you are new here and you haven't already subscribed and you are interested in interesting conversation dealing with surviving abuse, social issues, navigating the human experience, and sometimes, some vlogs about a person's life who has an orthodox life, make sure you subscribe so you can be notified of when I post new videos. Now, in this video, I want to talk about loving yourself. Chloe Bailey, I love her music and I love watching her as a young woman go through the process of discovering herself and her sexuality. And for me as a survivor of abuse, I run into a lot being judged about how I present myself to the world, if whether I show too much cleavage or I am over sexualized. Naturally, I am a sensual person and I did not allow the sexual abuse that I suffered change. It did change me. And the thing is about when you are abused as a child, there is no way to know who the adult would have been had that abuse not happened. But I know me. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. And as a spiritual being, I feel that I am connected to who my true self is. And who my true self is very sensual and feminine and nurturing. I like to portray that in my style of dress and how I wear my clothes and how I conduct myself. It just comes out naturally. It's not an act or anything. It just comes out naturally. So, Chloe Bailey, she is young enough to be my child. She's about the same age as my second daughter. And a lot of people judge her for now that she is no longer, well, I can't say no longer, but now that she has taken a break from being the duo of Chloe and Haley and finding her own path, a lot of people have judged her for how she is portraying herself, which is very sexy. And me, both as a mom and as a woman who has been judged for how I portray myself as a survivor of sexual abuse, I can appreciate her journey in finding herself, because women are powerful sexual beings, and you know that because men will kill and rape and lie for the V or for the P. Let's call it the V or the Y, Yodi. And even though our society and culture tries to demean a woman's value or diminish a woman's value based on how sexual she is, I disagree with that. Every individual, as long as you are adult, you have a right to portray yourself or engage how you want to engage. Now, if you choose to be involved or subscribe to a specific religion that dictates restrictions on when, where, when, and how, and why you should have sexual experiences, then that's your decision. And I respect those who cover up, those cultures that cover up their women. Well, I respect their choice. The history behind it is a little sordid. I've done some studying. The history behind certain cultures where they completely cover their women is a little, like, it makes me think like, oh, this is why, this is y'all choosing, but that's neither here or there. They choose to do it now, and I respect their decision. Now, I don't believe in putting all of the responsibility of a man's sexual desires on a woman. I don't believe in that at all. Men need to have their own control themselves. And historically, especially through religion, there has been this narrative that women tempt men, when it's like, well, men have a mind of their own. Like, they could make choices. And honestly, when it comes down to it, when it comes to the male gaze, it doesn't matter what a woman wears. He will look, he will think, he will imagine all he wants to. And I know, because guess what? My father was a deviant, and he verbalized all of the things that he saw and what he thought about women, even women in the Muslim belief system who wore their complete cover, their burqa, everything. It didn't matter. The fact that you could not see one slits of their skin did not change his sordid thoughts about them and him expressing his sordid thoughts about them. And in talking to a lot of men in my family, it doesn't. It just doesn't. Going back to child molestation, a child does not have breasts. And they don't have the voluptuous shape of a woman. So clearly a man's arousal, why it can be stimulated by the curves of a woman, it's not always required, clearly. So a man makes his own decisions. People make their own decisions to do what they want to do. Back to Chloe Bailey. She just released a song called Treat Me How You Want to Treat Me. And even though I had planned for this topic before this song came out, I could appreciate the artists, her as an artist, her contribution to the conversation of a woman creating their own sense of self-worth and establishing their own value. Now, yes, people have looked down on her and criticized her because she is expressing herself as a woman, and honestly, at her age, trying to find herself, exploring her sexuality, it's to be expected that maybe in some people's perspectives it is a little overboard. She's exposing herself too much, but it is what it is. She's finding herself. The fact that she's a celebrity, you know, that just happens to be, she's just on a larger platform. But ladies, I know you know that you went through a stage where your skirt got very short and your neckline got very low. That's just a part of the process of finding who you are. That does not mean that she's going to stay in this lane of how she presents herself. But one message that I do appreciate, especially as a single mother, as an entrepreneur, as someone that is making moves in my career, in my life, who has never depended, well, I can't even say never. Since I escaped my father, I have not depended on a man. Shoot, in some cases, in some relationships, I was the breadwinner in the household, and my boyfriend and my husband, ex-husband, was not working, and I was the sole provider. So I've always been in the mode of providing for me and mine. And I like nice things. I like nice clothes. I like nice cars. And I'm going to provide those things for myself, whether a man does it or not. So I have learned at the very least, yes, I mentioned that I did date some dudes that was not providing anything. They weren't providing anything but the D. I have learned that I should at least require that my partner provides for me, or is at least capable of providing for me what I provide for myself. So I love Broadway shows. If I enjoy going to Broadway shows and a man wants to court me, then he needs to be in a position to take me to a Broadway show, because you have to add something to my life. So, you know, this video is really going on about relationships and what you expect to yourself for yourself. And at the very least, you should expect in a partner for them to be capable of providing you what you can provide for yourself. Now, yeah, sure, if you find someone that can provide you more than what you provide for yourself, great. Claps for you. You did well. But I think at the very least, if you love yourself, part of your self-care routine should be to decide what you will and will not tolerate from another person. And I see people in relationships, and I've been one of those people, y'all. I have been one of those people. Settle for fear of not having anything at all, for fear of losing the good that they may get out of a situation. So I'm kind of preaching to the choir of myself, but it's all about experience. I have learned a lot in my relationships that did not give me anything, or definitely did not put in what I was putting out. It didn't even touch in a lot of cases. My kids can tell you. But anyway, I've grown past that. And through my experience, especially as a survivor, our sense of self-worth is challenged a great deal when you have been taken advantage of and exploited, and you feel like your power was stripped away from you. It's difficult to then determine what your power is, especially if you're still questioning why me, especially if you're still questioning, like, well, why did the universe, why did God, why did my creator choose this thing to happen to me? Maybe that means I'm not worth anything more. But I am here to tell you, get those ideas out of your head, because that is absolutely not true. Some of the things that we go through helps to make us stronger. One, when it comes down to it, it's all about what decisions you make on how to proceed after having those negative experiences. And essentially, you are a living, breathing, gifted, talented, beautiful human being that has gifts to share with the world. So like anyone else who maybe have not been abused, you are just as valuable, if not more, because now you can even share a perspective on life and an appreciation for life because of the things that you have been through. And I speak from experience. My insight into things, just because of my willingness to not only learn about surviving, but put into positions where I have had to become very resilient, and wanting to take something negative and turn it into something positive and hopefully help other people. Those kind of things drive me, and I realize that, you know, I have a lot of value. I have a lot of value. And it's not about being narcissistic or conceited. I just appreciate myself, and I expect that someone that I'm interested in romantically to recognize that, you know, I have a Mustang convertible, yo, and I love it, and she's beautiful. And I got it for myself, and she's lovely, and I provide for myself, and I have an amazing career, and I'm a published author, and I have impacted this world. So therefore, I deserve to be treated as such. I deserve to be revered in that way. I deserve to be be shown gratitude by a person I am romantically, because I'm gonna look, y'all. I love hard, and I am the type of person that expresses my love. For me, it's not just about the feeling of love, like, yeah, we're in love. No, I have to manifest it. I am compelled to manifest how I feel, whether it be through gifts or actions or genuine nurturing, through words. That's just how I am, and I really deserve the same. So yeah, that was my message. Treat me how I treat me. Treat me how I treat me. And I implore anyone else who might be watching this video to take the same perspective. All right. So shout out to Chloe Bailey. for her song, because it was really definitely like spot on, and a video. Check it out, y'all. I'll put the links in the description to that video because it's intense. On that note, Krishna is starting to get noisy. Please like and share. Go down in the comments, sound off. Tell me what your thoughts is and how you like my top. I mean, I like my boobies. I do. You know, they represent motherhood. That's what they do. Be blessed, for you are a blessing. Bye.